This girl literally lived a nightmare. A 17-year-old girl was watching TV late at night when her motion detector lights in her driveway suddenly went on. She assumed it was just an animal, so she got up, drew the blinds, and went back to watching TV. Then a little bit later, it happened again. Before she could even react, she looks over and clearly makes out a silhouette of a person right behind the blinds who starts banging aggressively on the window. The girl stands up and goes, "I'm gonna call the cops!" And the figure stops for just a second, sprints to the side door and starts pounding even louder on that, screaming incoherently. The girl runs to the bathroom, barricades herself inside while she waits for the police, and then her worst nightmares come true. She hears glass shatter in the other room. After a few minutes of silence, she opens her door just a crack to get a peek outside, and standing in her living room next to a broken window is some crazy old woman who looks over at her and starts sprinting toward her. The lady comes smashing into the door and starts wailing on it until the police arrive and take her away. She was a lunatic who had escaped her facility.
Storytime on how I found out I was dating a psychopath. So we're gonna call him Jake. So 5 months into the relationship, he started acting weird. He would show up at work unannounced and said that he came to visit me because he missed me. Even though 5 out of 7 days, I would sleep over. One day I texted him and said, "Hey, I have to work overnight. Can't see you tonight." And he got really mad. He called me a liar and said that I was cheating on him and that I was a whore. We got into an argument and I didn't talk to him for the rest of the day. I was at work at 9 and he texted me at 10 p.m. telling me that he was outside and that if I wasn't lying that I would go out and see him. So I went outside and I told him that this can't continue and that we had to take a break. And that was a really bad mistake. I walked away, and as I was walking away, my phone was blowing up, like for part 2.
Story time about how a girl used me for her OnlyFans content. My boyfriend and I decided we wanted to spice things up and bring another girl in. I've always been attracted to girls, so it was actually my idea, and of course my boyfriend didn't object. We made a profile on a dating app saying what we were looking for. I didn't think too many girls would be down for this sort of thing, but I was so wrong. To my surprise, we got a ton of matches and messages from cute girls. One girl named Becca messaged us and I was really interested because she was so beautiful, like an Instagram model. We started messaging back and forth for a few days, and then we decided to meet up downtown at a club on the weekend to get drinks and have a fun night out. I asked her for her Instagram to make sure she was legit and her profile checked out. The night came to meet up and she looked just like her pictures, a total baddie. We got drinks and started talking and she seemed really cool. A few drinks later, we were dancing, and a drink after that, we were all making out. We were having so much fun, and we stayed until the club closed at 2 a.m. We were planning on going home, but Becca insisted we come to her place for a drink and hang out some more. She hyped us up, and we agreed. We got an Uber and caught a ride together to her place. This is when things got wild. Part 2 of how a girl used me for her OnlyFans content. We pulled up to her place and hopped out of the Uber. She showed us in and made us a really good drink that kept our buzz going. One thing led to another and we ended up in her bedroom. She asked if we wanted to hook up and we agreed. In the middle of the action, she asked if we wanted to make some videos for fun. I was a little hesitant, but she insisted and said that it would be exciting. I agreed, but only if they were recorded on my phone, which she agreed with. I started recording and got some really good content. The next morning, I woke up with a text from Becca saying how much fun she had and asking me to send her the videos we made. I sent them over and she immediately blocked me on everything after receiving them. I was shocked. I told my boyfriend that she blocked me and grabbed his phone to see if he was blocked as well. I checked her Instagram and saw that she posted a story update 2 minutes ago. The story said, "New threesome videos on sale on my OnlyFans. DM me for the link." A few minutes later, my boyfriend was blocked on her account as well. I couldn't believe she used us for OnlyFans content and was profiting off of our goods. Luckily, our faces and tattoos weren't in any of the videos we sent her. Looking back on it now, it's kind of funny, but to this day, I still think I deserve half of the money she made off of those videos.
Storytime about how my best friend found out that I hooked up with her boyfriend. A little background information. I was in high school, and I was best friends with this girl. We're going to call her M. Well, M and I both had boyfriends, and they were also best friends. But I was super close with her boyfriend, because we had been best friends for like 3 years before they even started dating. Well, the one night we're all at my house, and we're all drinking, having a good time, and I always felt like I had feelings for him, aka my best friend's boyfriend. Well, my boyfriend had to go to his house to get some clothes, and M was the only one sober, so she drove him. So her boyfriend and I are sitting in the living room, and we're gonna call him Nate. Well, Nate and I get to talking, and we were saying how crazy it would be if we started dating. And then I told him that I had feelings for him. And he said that he did too. So we decided to be terrible people and we hooked up. And after that, we definitely knew that there weren't any feelings there. But he went and got a shower because he had my lipstick all over him and he was really sweaty. Then my best friend got back like for part 2.
This boy lied about his age just to date me. Story time. So back when my cute self was a senior in high school, there was this new girl that came to our school. Long story short, me and her ended up becoming super close. I went to her house, spent the night. Her family loved me. I mean, why wouldn't they? Anyways, she had a brother. We're gonna call him Binky. Me and Binky got pretty close. Now I want you guys to keep in mind, Binky didn't go to my school because their parents were divorced. So the sister who I was friends with lived with her mom, and Binky lived with his dad who lived in another city. But sometimes Binky would go to his mom's house, which is how I met him. Now that we got that out of the way, as me and Binky were getting closer, one day he asked me, "Hey, how old are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I just turned 17. How about you?" He told me, "Oh, I'm 17 too, but my 18th birthday is coming up." After a while, me and him eventually started dating. Then one day, I ran into his cousin who happened to go to my school. The rest of this story is crazy.
My mom said it's not her fault that I want to be an actress. And I said it's directly your fault. Because when I was 3 years old, my church put on a haunted house. This haunted house was meant to scare people into believing in God and kind of simulate hell. So it was very cool vibes. And my mom volunteered me to play the baby in the abortion room being aborted. So at the gorgeous age of 3, I am sitting in a giant paper mache uterus covered in fake blood, as my father, who was playing Satan, stands over me with a Dyson handheld vacuum. And I watched as all the people around me are sobbing at my performance. And I've been chasing that high ever since.
This is a crazy story time of when I used to work at Tilly's, so buckle up. This middle-aged mom walks in the store, right? And she just starts walking around the men's section and literally just grabbing everything she sees. I mean, she's not even looking at the sizes. So we thought that was weird, so we went up and asked her if she needs any help, and of course she said no. Then she decides that she wants to try everything on. So I unlocked a room for her, and then I told her that she can only have 7 at a time, and she literally had a million things, and she just ran in, shut the door, and cut me off. So we started to get suspicious, so I started talking over my little headset thingy and telling the people around the store what's going on. We knocked on the door like 3 times, asking if she needed help or needed any other sizes, and of course she just said no again. Then she comes barging out and literally runs to the front door and just leaves. So I walk in to see, and there's literally a bloody tampon on the floor. 2 days later, she comes back to the store.
Toxic best friend story time. So I had an off and on friendship with this one girl. In my freshman year, we became friends again. And she had this boyfriend named Nicholas. And they literally fought 24/7. And every time she would fight, she would be like, "Can you please fix this for me?" So she would have me add him on Snapchat, fix it, and then block him. And guys, this literally was happening like 5 times a week. And then after she asked me to do that the first few times, I realized she started going through my phone. And when I say my phone, I mean my whole motherfucking phone. A bitch was going through my Snapchats, DMs, text messages, and I didn't know how to confront her because that's just weird. So the one day I was getting ready at her house because we were about to go out, and she was like, "I'm grounded, can I use your phone real quick?" And I was like, "Yeah, just let me Snapchat this last person back." And she goes, "No," and rips the phone out of my hand. And she starts going through my Snapchat right in front of me. And I had a streak with this kid named Nick. She goes up to me and says, "What the fuck is this?" Like for part 2.
The night this happened, my sister had a hard time falling asleep. So she got up to get some water, you know. When she walked out of her room to go to the kitchen, she noticed my dad's door was open. And he never leaves his door open or sleeps with his door open. But she ignored it and she went to the kitchen to get some water. So as my sister's walking back to her room, she turns around and looks at my dad's door and sees this yellow blob figure with like auras coming out of it. So my sister stares at it for a good 2 minutes. And this bitch sprints back to her room. And this bitch could not sleep. Like she stayed in her room, she couldn't sleep. So in the morning, she wakes me up and she tells me what happens. And because of what happened the night before, I'm like, okay, this is not normal. This is not fucking normal. So I tell my dad and he didn't believe us because, you know, we just daydream. Like kids, it's not real. So we looked up the meaning of seeing this type of figure. And I remember just reading it's evil. And then it could possibly be a skinwalker, but I don't believe that. I know what skinwalkers are and I don't think that was a skinwalker. And as always, it only gets fucking worse.
One time when I was in 8th grade, I got a hickey on my neck because I had daddy issues, and my teacher noticed and sent me to the principal's office. And the principal was like, "I'm calling your mom." And I was like, I burned my neck with a curling iron on accident. And she was like, no, you didn't. So on the bus ride home, luckily my best friend and I shared the same bus stop. And I asked her if I could go to her house really quick to burn my neck with her curling iron. And she said yes. So when I walked into the house, my mom was literally ready to beat my ass. And I was like, Mom, look, it's just a curling iron burn. And she was like, wait, yeah, that's clearly just a curling iron burn. And she got so mad and she called the principal and she demanded that she apologize to me. And the principal had to apologize to me. And to this day, my mom still doesn't know.
Story time on how my brother and I got caught, doing the dirty. And also, we are married now. So before we start, I just wanted to say, we don't have the same dad. We just have the same mom. And we honestly don't see anything wrong about it. But let's start. So like I said, he's only my half brother. And we were really, really close all the time. He's my older brother. And he was always very protective. We didn't really fall in love until 3 years ago. And also, we are from Europe. So the day we got caught, doing the dirty, we were home alone. And like I said, we were always close. So that day we were just hanging out, watching a movie on the couch, and he started to play around, flicking my ear, and then he pulled my hair, and we just started playing around. And I accidentally tripped, and my nose was bleeding. He was really scared. So he said, let's go take care of that before our parents get home. Come back for part 2.
You know what I find funny? How the school system will teach us how to memorize pages and pages of useless and indoctrinated information that we could literally look up within seconds, but they fail to teach us the most important things in life, like, creativity, imagination, self-awareness, how to love other people, communication skills, how to challenge ideas, how to grow our own food, how to self-defend, how to build, and overall just how to think for ourselves. Or literally anything about money, debt, or taxes. Or just finding our passions and true talents in life. But no, they teach us what to think and not how to think. Just a thought.
Storytime of how I found out that there was a guy living in my attic. I'm even pretty sure there's a couple articles on this. So basically, living in the house was me, my mom, my dad, and my younger sister. This story ends up taking a huge twist, so just stay tuned for that. Also, keep in mind that my boyfriend's name at the time was Jacob. When I first started to notice that there was somebody else in my house was when I first started dating Jacob. Mind you, the only time anybody in my entire family has ever been in the attic is the first 2 months that we lived there, and it was only once or twice, and we never seen anything up there. So we would notice that bits of our food would go missing, and every time we packaged leftovers, the leftovers in the Tupperware that we packaged the leftovers in would just completely disappear. And a bunch of my stuff would always go missing. For example, 2 of my pillows and 4 of my blankets gone missing, and my shoes and my clothes, and even my underwear. So one day my boyfriend came over and he left around 1 a.m. So the rest of my family was sleeping. Also, I have the whole entire upstairs to myself, and my mom, dad, and my sister sleeps downstairs. This story just ends up getting really crazy, so like for a part 2.
You will never believe what just happened to me. So I'm visiting home right now for the holidays, and I decided that today I want to go thrifting. Hit all my favorite spots. So I get into this thrift shop, I'm looking around, and I spot this beautiful Levi's jean jacket. It was in the men's section, but who cares? I make a beeline for the jacket. I go to grab the jacket, and some other guy's hands grab the jacket too. So we're like touching hands. I look up, and it's this beautiful, gorgeous man, okay? He looks about my age. Just a good-looking guy, okay? So we kind of just stared at each other for a second. Then all of a sudden, we started arguing about who saw the jacket first. And eventually, I gave up because I wanted to be nice, and I let him get the jacket. I watch him check out the jacket and leave. But then as I'm leaving, I see a bag hanging on the side of my car. It has the jacket in it. He left me this note with his number on it. I think I just had my Disney movie moment.
Storytime about how my boyfriend was cheating on me with my stepsister. So a little background information, my mom remarried whenever I was in 8th grade, and my stepdad had 2 daughters. One which was my age, and we got along really well. Well, before my sisters and I went back to school, my mom wanted to go on a camping trip with everyone. And my boyfriend was coming because he was really close with my family. So while my stepsister and I are packing up, she starts acting really weird. And we're gonna call my boyfriend Kevin. She was like, oh, is Kevin still coming with us? And I was like, yeah. And then she goes, oh, are you and Kevin still together? And I'm like, we were never broken up. Like, the fuck? Like I said, she was just being super fucking weird. But anyways, We all get in the car, we drive up there, and her and Kevin start being super weird around each other. Like they were being too touchy. Anytime that I wanted to go do something with Kevin, she would say, "Oh, Kevin, you can come do this instead." Well, that night, Kevin and I are sleeping in our tent. At least I thought he was. And I wake up to some loud noises in the other tent, like for part 2.